I'm rolling up my sleeve. I'll explain this later.
It's a bit of a worry. Why are you rolling up your sleeves? Welcome to Big Questions, Short Answers. I'm Sian.
And I'm Andy, Sian's husband, asking the big life questions.
And possibly adding a little bit of unsolicited advice.
Maybe. This podcast is brought to you by Sian's value-based online course. Visit sianjacquet.com to find out more. I'm going to kick it off today with something a bit different because I came across this article which was entitled 50 Random Things in Men That Turn Women On.
Oh, God. Oh, really? Okay.
And I reckon I cover a lot of them. So, what are a few of them anyway? Like, one of the things, rolling up my sleeves, is forearms, apparently. Like, forearms are meant to be sexy. Rolled up sleeves. There we go. I've done that. You can't see that, but Charles looking at me thinking, there's sexy forearms.
Which bit of that sexy? You've got psoriasis at the top there.
The other thing is salt and pepper hair, which is
Oh, yeah.
those things
that's
go
quite
on.
sexy. I quite like it.
Good with kids.
Yeah.
Manual competence.
Yeah.
Good dancer.
Oh, you think you hit that category?
Yeah, I really do. I really do.
No, I don't think
Better
so.
dad.
You need to do a bit of a market validation on that. But
Bit of
anyway.
dad dancing. And one of the things that is quite weird is reversing a car and like with your over the back seat and you're reversing and it's like the forearms shut. That's apparently, look, I'm just reading this stuff.
Before I pass a comment on this, right? Give me the detail. Who wrote this article? Where's it come from?
Oh, it's from it's an American thing. It's like a men's magazine.
Okay.
Stuff. And it's just an interesting, in terms of the big questions, is what makes men sexy or to women, or the attraction process.
Being sexy and being attractive are two very different things. How did you get to be as old as you are without realising that?
Right. Okay, turn women on. That's the random things.
The ability to clean and shower. I realised that I'd come back to that. We'll come back to that on numerous occasions. Okay, I will actually.
Because what it's about attraction.
I will step into this one, right? I'm sitting here thinking, really. But when you mentioned being able to reverse a car,
Yeah.
I'm not sure I can go into the space of sexy or attractive. But maybe if I were to reframe it, I mean, I don't have a problem sharing with the world that you are a pretty shit driver.
Not.
You are. Yeah, well, most of the time. But one thing you do incredibly well is reverse a car.
Okay.
You know, there aren't many times in life when, and you know me well, when I will literally just put my hands up and say, nah, I'm not even going to try. Yeah. And parking a car in a city
Yeah.
when there's a real finite amount of space.
Reverse
But
park.
not just to get the car in, but to actually reverse it because there's cars on the other side of the road that are parked very narrow. My theory is it's because you love to drive in the centre of London.
Yeah.
And if you didn't know how to do that, well, stop anyway.
So apart from my amazing driving skills, the question
No, nobody said you had amazing driving skills. Let's just stick to the point. You can park a car incredibly well.
Okay.
It is an attractive thing for me to see you park the car nicely.
Okay.
My point is that I can't say it's a generic thing. I don't sit in the car and see a man in a car in front of me reversing and think, oh, he's a sexy creature. I don't think that's all. It's your competence
Right.
and your skill that I am attracted to.
Okay. So,
And it's the confidence, in truth. Yes, you
Right.
exude a sense of confidence when you're reversing a car that it's... I'm not saying it's not used to other parts of your life, but it never stops being immediately switched on. You stop, I see your brain working, there's a competence, there's a confidence. So I suppose what I'm really saying is there's a confidence, and competence is attractive. If I could reframe it in that way. I'm not sure I can go into the word sexy, but go on. What else is on then?
oh,
Out of interest.
well, hold on 1 second. Let me pull this up. Deep voice. There we go.
Yeah, quite like one of them.
Yeah. So this is a deep voice. What else have we got?
My mom, when I first met you, that was the first thing she said. Oh, he's got a lovely voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come. Just
skateboarding. Well, we won't go there.
nothing remotely attractive about skateboarding.
White t-shirts.
No. Got to wash it.
No.
Got to wash it.
Button-down shirts with the top button undone. That's what I'm wearing at the moment.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Wearing a tool belt.
No.
No,
Nope.
not into that.
Nope.
But broad shoulders, well, yeah, we got that. Got a bit of that going on. Well, I forgot broad
Do
shoulders.
you find broad shoulders attractive?
No. I mean, I'm asking you. The big question is in terms of...
You hardly make 5'5". You are not a man with broad shoulders.
Well,
You kind of...
but no, when you
You're
put it...
petite.
No, but when you put it like all together, because I'm short, maybe my shoulders look broad.
Put together,
taller.
kind of in a general normal human sense. But darling, I don't know where you get these ideas that you've got broad shoulders. But anyway, they're lovely shoulders.
Hold on.
I like them.
Big nose. I've got a big nose.
Yeah, you do have a big nose.
But it's an interesting thing, isn't it, in terms of what creates that...
What's this person on when they wrote this list?
I have no idea. But it's an interesting thing, isn't it, in terms of that sense of what makes attraction and what can you do to make yourself more attractive as we come into a more serious part of the conversation.
Yeah. I'm not on your same page. Where are you going with this? Is it just to blow my mind with a list of these are the things I'm supposed to find sexy?
Well, no, I found it interesting.
Only because you read it and thought, oh, this is me.
But
Which it isn't.
there's a few of them. I can count on a few of them.
Yeah, you roll your sleeves up.
Yeah, and sort of...
As I say, you've got psoriasis.
So big nose, can reverse a car. I'm the full package.
How many coffees have you had today?
So, but as I come back to the interesting thing in terms of
What's
attraction, yeah,
It's absolutely individual. What somebody finds attractive, somebody else won't. Yeah? Come on now, why am I even having to say this? We all know that. It's so individual, yeah? The things that irritate me are that we've got a social media-led construct. What's the
construct.
construct of what's attractive when you look at magazines and all the rest of it. It's a crock of shit. I think from my perspective, and I'm not speaking for every woman, but, my wisdom that I've gathered from listening to women, it's actually kind of scientific, genetics, whatever, that gets the hormones and the whatever going because that's the man I want.
Man.
It is, is it values? Is it quality? I don't know. But, if you see, I can remember when we were younger, right? And we house sat for a family in Australia and they had 3 small boys. And we moved in and we looked after these 3 boys when the parents went away. And how old were you? You were in your middle 20s?
Mid-20s.
Yeah. And I do remember sitting there watching you play and look after these boys. I can't use the word sexy. That's not what was in my head. But did I look and think, wow, that's impressive? Yeah, or it stirred something in me, that was for sure.
Yeah. Somebody to look after your future children.
Yeah. Which was a bit weird at the time because I didn't think I was ever getting married and I didn't think I was ever going to have kids. But there was an admiration and a respect and an acknowledgement that I was looking at a man that was incredibly comfortable around young kids. I think, possibly, that was to do with the fact that I had a father that was like that, yeah? That, we were ticking boxes here. I didn't know it was, but yeah, not only was I acknowledging that you were comfortable around kids and genuinely comfortable, but that I was able to relate it to having a father. And my dad in the 60s, who was a real hands-on parent in every sense of the word,
unusual.
was really unique and unusual, yeah? So I think that possibly, for me, I found attractive, yeah? Maybe that's a good word. I don't know, this is a bizarre conversation.
It is a bizarre conversation. It's slightly left field for our normal podcast, but I just think it was quite interesting in terms of that whole process of attraction, which, these days, unfortunately, kids are in, and young people and people indeed in middle age are in a situation where attraction is so, I don't know, swiping left, swiping right kind of stuff. It's.
Can I be a real know-all and say really and truly what I found attractive?
Okay.
People's values.
Yeah.
Kindness, generosity, empathy, ability. Those are the things that make me find a human being attractive and wanting to be around let down my guard and let them inside to know who I really am. Nothing to do with sex. Yes, it's not a sexy thing, yeah? But I can honestly say that that's probably the most significant decisions and sense of the filters that I go through as a human being, somebody's values. And the more that incongruence you kind of have a match with mine, yeah, the more likely I am to spend more time and to lean in. Interestingly, when I meet people for the first time, when I'm working with them, I mean, my job is not to judge anybody in any way, shape or form, and I work very, very hard at being able to do that. But every now and again, I'll meet somebody for the first time, and the coaching session we have will be on a level that is, you couldn't have predicted. There will be a profound something that's happened in that time that we've spent together. And if there is a common denominator, it's probably because some of that person's core values are in alignment with mine, and therefore the discussion and the depth of the way in which we communicate exponentially moves much faster because it's based on a trust, because values are aligned. That's got nothing to do with you picking up an article.
No, but I thought it was an interesting, slightly left field part of the conversation.
So the question I want to ask you is, why were you attracted to it? Because I actually think that social media these
Why was I attracted to the article?
Yeah, I think we all do it. We look at articles and we think, oh, where's me in that?
Yeah.
I want to be affirmed. I want to be able to take whatever this person has written. I mean, it was very interesting that you completely body swerved whether or not it was any value, whether it'd been researched, whether it was written by somebody on drugs. You know, I mean, that's fine, whatever, you know, float your boat as you want. But do you know what I mean? There was no validation behind it. No. It was just, ooh, if I can see myself in that. And I'm not picking on you because I do it too. Yeah. I found myself a couple of weeks ago clicking onto a website about women over the age of 60, what hairstyles you should have or you shouldn't have.
Right.
And halfway through it, after scrolling for about 10 minutes, I actually caught myself and just stopped and thought, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing here? Yeah, well, why do I need somebody else to tell me what I need to look like and whether I have permission to have my hair here, or it doesn't mean it was, but it's the same kind of thing, isn't it? You're looking for affirmation. Where do I fit into this? What's going to tell me? Which again, we know we've flung open the doors to a whole set of 20 podcasts about the pros and cons, the good, the bad, the right, the wrong of social media and the information and how we gather information and how we filter it.
Well, I think the important thing from this, I suppose, this lesson for today, as we have to wind up because it's we try and do things in a short amount of time, is, you know, that validation from unvalidated sources.
Exactly.
And having, I suppose, a sense of self that's strong enough to reject that and just be who you are. Is that right?
Well, yeah, I suppose so. But equally, and don't personalise this, all right? Don't give me that face when I say it. But it's not a big stretch, is it, to say that, you know, when you're in your 60s, I mean, that could have been related to women.
I don't think the hairy arm's good.
Oh, no, what I mean is that, no, you've lost my train of thought now. This could relate to men or women. You know, is it, I don't know if we're brave enough to even have a conversation about it, but when you're in your 60s, you do start questioning, you know, what is my relationship to my sexuality and my body and my physical need for sex and all the rest of it. I mean, I don't want to blow this out of the water, but I think on some level, you were looking at that, or people, let's do it generic, and let's not make it about you, although you were the one that did it, but people would look at that at your age, yes, because it's looking for affirmation. Well, what things are still making me a sexy male? Yeah, because when you're an adolescent in your 20s, be under no illusion, you and I know that that's probably one of the top 3 things that every male thinks about. Am I attractive? Am I, you know...
What do you mean adolescent? Still think...
Well, that's my point, isn't it? That you are thinking about it. And that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing at all in any way, shape or form. I'm just, you know, on the surface, it's reasonably humorous. But I suppose what I would be saying to you is the question of, okay, well, you stopped and you used so many minutes of your life to read that, and it clearly lodged itself somewhere in your brain. Well, rather than delving deeper into an article that is about as thin as, what's the smallest measure, millimetre or smaller than a millimetre?
Micrometre.
But why you needed to do it, yeah? So that's really I don't know, there's a lot of things you can get out of it. But what I want to frame it as, I think, is to say when you read something or you see something on social media, it's probably a good job to stop after a few minutes or seconds and just check, am I doing this way? Yeah? What need am I meeting here? And if I'm going to meet a need, should we just filter through that through some critical thinking of, is the person giving me this advice?
Yeah.
So,
True.
yeah.
True. Well, unfortunately, we've run out of time. Bloody fascinating subject.
What? Your big nest?
My sexy forearms. And we'll leave it there. Join us next time on Big Questions, Short Answers with Sian Jacquet and me, Andy.
If you have any questions you want to ask, please send them via the website, sianjacquet.com.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and share it with everyone you know.
We really do appreciate you sharing 15 minutes with us.
And if you want to do a bit more learning, go on to Sian's website, sianjacquet.com. There's a course on values to create the life you truly love. I did it, and it really does do what it says on the can.
See you next time.